Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Out in the Woods. It's that special time in the episode arcs. It's yet another sixth episode. This is the 18th episode of season 3. Little round of applause that we've made it this far somehow. It's the antidepressants and the alcohol. Okay, anyway, so here we are. Here we are. We're here, we're queer, we're not going anywhere. We have some familiar faces and some new faces all alike on this wonderful big sweet tea. I don't know if this is as large as the last large sweet tea. I think it's about the same girth. But yeah, once again, we got it going. I got a lot of great guests. I love all of them. And yeah, let's hop right into it. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey.
So let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. I'm gonna start with you, Ezra.
Hi, it's me, Ezra. Y'all know me. I'm longtime friend of Jacob's and been on the podcast a couple of times. My first episode was a sweet tea.
It was.
My second episode was my episode. It was about queer witchcraft and spirituality.
Now, really quick, Ezra, would it be insensitive for me, just so the audience knows, in case they're having a hard time recognizing your voice, to refer to you right now as the artist formerly known as Zane?
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
I went through a name change.
Yes.
We did it.
Same great taste, with a different name.
Yeah. Did a rebrand.
Yeah, just a little rebrand. Alex.
Hi, I'm Alex. I've also been on the pod a few times. My first episode was Music to My Queers from season 2. And I've been on a few Sweet Tea episodes now. I was on the last one as well. And I'm a singer, obviously, from that.
Cameron.
Hi, everyone. My name is Cameron Petrie. You may know me for my podcast, The Petrie Dish. Me and Jacob have done a recent episode on David Bowie. You can go check out. And I was Jacob's first guest on his third episode, I believe. Christianity and queerness, or flip that around, coexisting. Yeah. 69 words. And a frequent sweet tea extraordinaire. I can't remember the title I got last episode, but yeah, here I am. Hi, everyone.
So for anyone who out there who has not tuned into Cameron's podcast, do it. Even if it's just for the David Bowie episode. For anybody out there who has not heard the David Bowie episode, literally, it was a labor of love, a lot for Cameron.
And lots of love, lots of labor.
It sounds so fucking incredible. It was such a great listen, and I did cry at the end. Not on the show, but listening to it, I did cry at the end. So
yeah, Jacob has a really heartfelt moment at the end, and it really brought me to tears putting it together. As I was doing the closing, you can hear me kind of recatching my breath because Jacob had just got me so emotional. But anyway, yeah. That's me.
Yeah,
hi.
But the audience doesn't need to know that I have a heart. Anyway, so Dylan, you're next, my pretty little Satanist.
Hi, I'm Dylan, our Ryan, our Shadow. I've been on 2 full episodes and then 1 Southern Sweet Tea. So I did the After Dark episode, and then I was on the Satan on the LGB. I can't remember LGBT.
Yeah, I think it's Lucifer and the LGBT. I think that's what I called it. I try to be clever, y'all. I'm not really clever.
You are clever.
I have a veneer. I have a veneer of cleverness. Jonathan.
Oh. Name's Jonathan. This is my first time here on Sweet Tea. I met Jacob through a friend and super cool now, so I'm here to talk about whatever comes up.
Oh, and whatever indeed. Natalia.
Hi, everybody. I'm Natalia. I am a clinical psychologist. I work at the VA. My episode was in November, I think. And we talked all about mental health and just how the pandemic affects mental health. So this is my first sweet tea. I'm really, really excited.
We're so excited to have you here. I'm always excited when I get to do sweet teas. Honestly, if this whole podcast could just be me doing sweet teas and mind book episodes, I would be content for the rest of my life. But there is important work and new voices that we have to hear. So anyway, welcome. So y'all, first things first, what's the tea?
Drag Race overload. Just to start a gay, you know what I mean?
Okay. I'm gonna lose my gay card. I don't know what is Drag Race overload. What's happening? What's going on?
Well, right now we have the International Drag Race UK versus the world. So there's international queens from all the French. Yes, Jacob, you need to catch up. All the international franchises. There's queens from each one. There's season 14 that started a few weeks ago. They had their first straight cisgendered man, which has been fun and interesting to see on a gay show like RuPaul's Drag Race. And there's probably some other ones. But
you know what? Editorial brain heard straight cisgendered man on Drag Race. Let's pick that out for a talking point. How do we all feel about that?
I'll start. Everyone was like, including me, was like a little skeptical at first, but the character and the person have really like shown their allyship and have talked about like not any straight person needs to be doing drag. You know, you needed to really know the history behind the art form and things like that. So right now, I think like for me personally, I'm in good standings. Her drag's fine. Everyone on the show, including RuPaul, thinks it needs a little sprinkle of gay in it. You know what I mean? But she's cool. She's funny. She's got a sense of humor. She's got a sense of humor about everything. So I'm cool with her. Other people might have a different opinion. That's what we're here for.
You know, that's all good and well.
Exactly.
I think after our last Sweet Tea episode discussing drag and RuPaul, I disregard anything that RuPaul says.
Sure.
Like if RuPaul's like, that's nifty, I think this is the future, I'm like, next. All right. Anyway, thanks for your input.
I just think they're neat.
Yeah, and it feels more like it feels not more. Maybe she thinks it's about for the future, but it really is like it was just good VH1 TV because she outed that queen the moment. So I hear you're our first straight queen in history. How do you feel about that? And all the queens just go. Arr! So
and she could hear the money being printed in that moment when she said that. Yeah.
Exactly. That's a fair point. Exactly. So
I'm
capitalism.
gonna put it past me and be like, so you're a straight drag queen. How's your relationship with your dad?
Exactly.
Talk about that on my television.
Was Clown School empty?
About it though, because I haven't followed like since like season 9.
Yeah. I just got my boyfriend through all the seasons on Paramount, and you can tell from like one was what it was, but like 2 through 9 is like it feels really genuine, and it feels like the queens really are the characters they are. And then like after that, it kind of feels a little like, okay, you're gonna play this role and you're gonna play this role. And
you can
we
see
kind of
very clearly early on like how the lines are drawn and how everybody will fit into that box.
And everybody comes in with a ready-made catchphrase, and like, you know, I'm gonna be the bitch of the season, or I'm gonna do this. Yeah, I agree. I stopped watching around like 9-10 because it just didn't feel anything new, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I've only seen like the first episode of it. I'm watching it episode by episode with like my husband, but basically the first episode in, they're doing like split premieres and everything, which I enjoy because it gives you a chance to like actually get to know like the queens a little bit more. So Natty Morphosis, who is the straight queen, was not in the first episode. In regards to like having a straight queen, it's not, well, I guess UK, the first season, the queen was bisexual, but I don't think it should have been treated like a big deal because there are straight drag queens out there. It's
Right.
cool, I guess, that Maddie's on there and everything, but do I think it should be celebrated or like hated on? No, it should just be like, okay.
Exactly. Not hated on, but also not celebrated is really not a big deal.
Because hasn't Dragula had a couple of them?
Yeah.
Oh, for
Yes,
sure.
I'm so happy you brought that up because I love Dragula. Dragula is
Yes.
like one of my absolute favorite. Like, I think I stopped watching Drag Race at the same time Dragula started on YouTube. And when I watched the first season of Dragula, I'm like, this is the representation I want.
Yeah.
Game
So
changer.
good. Like bio queens, they've had like, I don't know if they've had a straight. I think they might have, but like
They
the
did
trans
in
representation.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say,
Oh yeah, that's right. Like the trans representation was incredible. It's just like so much more beyond than I think Drag Race could possibly be at this point.
And I think Dragula having that representation is why Drag Race has had to start catching
it had
on.
to pick it up. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right, because it's like a very similar fan base that watched Drag Race first and then kind of went over. And then with the whole fracking stuff and everything that came about, you know, that whole debacle, they're not catching a break.
No.
Yeah, let me just state, in case I didn't make it clear last time I was here, I'm not a RuPaul fan. I've loved RuPaul's Drag Race since, the beginning. And obviously everything else that's come, all the international stuff and Dragula. So in case anyone's like, oh, he's a RuPaul fan, no. RuPaul needs to retire.
Yeah.
Retire, if you will.
Retire in his mansion. Like, you're good, dude. Like,
It really is, in my opinion, only a matter of time before RuPaul starts an MLM.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
oh wait, what
Is that not what RuPaul's Drag
Yeah.
Race is?
MLM is multi-level marketing. It's basically a pyramid scheme. Like
that's it.
Whenever you get like, hey girl, how would you like to
I know.
become your own business owner?
Right.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I just didn't know that was called an MLM.
I feel
Except
like
you're gonna be,
that's-
hey queen,
Good, noted.
do you want to
Yeah.
boost these great products that are eco-friendly and great for your skin?
I feel like that's what DragCon is. Hey queens, you lasted 2 episodes, but have a booth at DragCon and let's see if anybody comes to see you.
Yeah.
Raking in the money.
I could see RuPaul as like the head of Mary Kay or something.
Oh,
Like
she
the
would
evil
never.
head
Oh my god.
turns the big chair around like, yeah.
Hasn't done
Yeah,
her
someone
own
could
makeup
buff
in
her
years.
scalp.
So I haven't watched a single season of RuPaul, and I'm on a high horse about that. But I'm really, really, really tired of people celebrating mediocrity and just the bare minimum. Like, oh, we have a straight queen, we're inclusive, or oh, we finally have an out trans person after 12 seasons. It's just like, okay, you're doing the bare minimum to like appease people, but you're not.
Gottmik was cute though.
I love
will-
Gottmik.
And
the
also,
representation has been great, but yes.
also, I mean,
Agreed.
well, I don't know. It feels like it's being made in a boardroom now.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, for sure.
and like
With
and-
RuPaul and like 3 white men.
Correct. And like I think like
Hetero.
I mean RuPaul historically said that like, it would not be fair to put a trans queen on the show because like it would be unfair competition because of the tits. And I'm like,
Dragula did it season 1.
Well,
Exactly.
also, like, how, it just makes me cringe because drag as an art form was started by trans women and a lot of trans women of color. Like, how, I don't know. Never mind.
Yeah.
also there are drag queens that have cartoonishly huge tits that like natural that trans women don't normal. I mean, go for it, girl. I mean, if you're out there, listeners, and one of you is trans and you're like, I haven't had my top surgery yet, but I really want just huge anime titties, baby, go for it. Go get those huge anime titties. Fucking crush them. Okay.
But one of the things that bothered me about when all those statements were made about trans women being on Drag Race was it was about Peppermint.
Mhm.
Like one of the pillars of like what drag is now.
Mhm.
And that's who they were going for. Like, just sweep the rug right out from underneath your own feet on that one. Like,
yeah, for how amazing Peppermint is and just the amount of activism that she has, like that she's incredible. I feel like they did her a disservice on the show.
very much so.
Mm-hmm. She was just like it was weird. They didn't mention really anything about her. And then it was only if you followed her afterward or before that you knew really anything about her.
Yeah.
Peppermint.
That's it.
Peppermint, I think Peppermint is the prime example of like how I feel about humans and like God. You know, it's like only RuPaul can judge me. No, only I can judge RuPaul.
Yeah.
So there we go.
That part.
So Ezra, I'm sorry. I saw what you sent today and I had to steal it for the episode. So I hope that you're ready.
Okay.
Y'all, here's a creative question. I want you to put your thinking caps on, okay? So what would be a really good slur for toddlers?
You're welcome.
As to like
Fermented cream pies. That's my number one.
to refer to toddlers, like a slur to refer to toddlers. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Or a fully baked cream pie.
Like imagine your papa is sitting
Like cream pie.
At Thanksgiving and he sees a toddler walk by outside and he's like, that damn walking on my lawn.
Right. Ooh.
Oh, like a gremlin.
No, that's me.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Crotch Goblin is already taken.
Crotch Goblin.
I attempted to in our group chat where I initially sent that question, I had attempted to say pubic lice, but it autocorrected to public lice, which I feel is just as applicable.
Yeah.
Going to crabs.
Crabs.
If there's a particularly loud child, like wherever I am, and they're like just like acting a whole fool in public, I refer to them as abortion survivors.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
That's it.
Or petri dishes. A lot of times I'll refer to children, toddlers as petri dishes.
Yes.
My wife is a teacher, and whenever we're sick, which is so much more than average, it's because of them. They're just walking around, just nodding on everything. Ugh.
They're gross. They're loud. They're expensive. They're always, for some reason, suspiciously sticky. I don't.
Fly paper. Little fly paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, this question came from my like absolute abhorrence of children. I used to be one of those people that was like so in my heartstrings clinging to the fact that I was gonna have children, and now nowadays I'm just like, ew, get it away.
Is it like ill children of all ages, or just like babies, or just
no
general?
Babies? I'm probably okay with, but it's like once they can walk around and get into everything and be loud and obnoxious, I don't like it anymore.
The whining is the whining.
Is there a bookend to that? So babies are kind of okay. We start at toddlers, but is there like a point where they're like kids are okay again?
Okay, yeah, probably about like
19.
Yeah, like 18, 19, you know, once it's like, okay, fend for yourself. That's when I'm like,
that's interesting, because I don't really like babies like at all. Like I'm okay with kids from the time of like they're 10 and up, but it depends on the kids. Like I don't like all kids unconditionally. If they're well behaved, I'm like, okay, you're cool.
There's some little kids that I'm like, okay, I fuck with you, you're cool. But for as a broad wash, like children between the ages of like 2 and like 17, I'm like,
I like them before their brain has fully developed from from age to 7. That sounds weird. My niece and my nephew are 4 and 5. So before their brains have fully developed, you really get to know who they're going to be as an adult if they stay the way they are, if that makes sense. How the brain works as far as I know. So it's interesting to see kids just be completely authentic without the ego, without shame. Exactly. So if they're bad between 2 and 7, look out, because they're probably going to be bad for a minute unless something changes before.
My little nephew authentically likes to throw soccer balls at the cats. What does that say about him, Cameron?
He's athletic. He has a lot of energy.
Yeah, I was authentically a biter.
I love. I played
Still
soccer as a
am.
kid. I loved
Yeah,
it.
it's right.
See, I like kids, but I think that I have a healthy, I don't know, appreciation of children. I'm not one of those people where if I see any picture of any child, I'm like, oh my God, I don't lose my mind. But I feel like I see them for what they are. If they're petri dishes, then they're petri dishes. If they're speaking full sentences, that's great, right?
Yeah.
Drink every time my podcast naturally gets shouted out.
So, who all plans on having kids here?
Womp womp.
You see,
Sorry.
if I were adopting kids, maybe having biological children. I mean, that's ego, because the idea of having a little version of me running around, I'm like, yeah, that's awesome, but that's a lot of work too. I mean,
Yeah.
And on a spiritual level, that's a lot of karma.
yeah,
I think that Kylo Ren from the new Star Wars trilogy should be a prime example of why having your kids, having biological children because you just want to put the best parts of you in them is absolutely the wrong way to go about it and will blow up in your face.
Exactly. It always comes back to the sequel trilogy of Star Wars, unfortunately.
Somehow, well, Adam Driver just made such an impact on my prostate. No, I'm just kidding. Please don't sue me, Adam Driver. Please don't sue me.
driving something.
So, Natalia, have you gone through a journey on deciding to want kids, or have you always felt like you really wanted to have kids?
I always felt that just because, so I'm Puerto Rican, and so in our family, children's pretty important. And I think for me being a lesbian, it made it even more so, okay, if I don't really want to do this, I have an out because I can't, which is great, right? Thanks, whoever's up there. But I don't know, it just made me want to have children more. The cool thing is my wife's coworker, her and her husband were having a really hard time conceiving, and so they actually have embryos that are still frozen that they haven't used, and so they're going to let us adopt those embryos.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's so technically, I guess we are having our own children, but they're adopted. Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
That's a fun option.
You get the best
Science,
of both worlds.
It'll be a fun conversation of why they look very similar to twin girls that live in Florida, but we'll process this when we get there.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I used to heavily want children, for most of my life wanted them. And then it came to the point where I was kind of getting closer to 30, and there's no cutoff age or anything like that, but I definitely wanted to be a younger parent and asking what reasons did I actually want kids, and who would it benefit, and do I feel emotionally aware and ready enough to be a father. And it came to the point probably around early last year where I was I don't feel like I would be able to be a good parent and not put my bullshit on them at some point. And also I'm not financially stable and, not stable in a lot of ways. So like, what kind of stability can I provide for someone else? So
one other thing too, like, because for me, it was the same way that I was like, I wanted children so bad. I had names picked out, like the whole 9 yards. But then it's like, as I had gotten older, and like, especially because I raised my younger siblings, and like, it became very clear for me, like into like all of our adulthoods, that it's like this concept of like, you can give a child everything, as much love, attention, space, whatever, and they can still just turn out to be an asshole. Like, because I have 2 siblings that I raised. One of them is like, we are like best friends, and like, we're super close. He's one of the coolest people I've ever met. But then my other sibling, complete asshole, like just like the antithesis of my other sibling. And it's so strange. Like, and that was one of those things that was like, oh no, what if I have a kid and they're that?
yeah.
That's a good
Despite how
point,
much
like-
like I love them and supported them and whatever, they're still just an asshole.
Like
Or
nobody
stray.
expects everybody wants to blame their parents if the kids turn out bad, but like, do you think Jeffrey Dahmer's
that
parents said,
Cameron.
hey, by the way, don't eat people?
Right, exactly.
I mean, also, like, what kind of world would we be bringing? Natalia, don't just cover your ears. But like, what kind of world would I be bringing this potential child into right now?
Exactly,
Like,
yeah.
holy shit! Like,
This is what I meant by karma.
right. But also, like, on a real note, like, also everybody, some real tea. Everybody out there, I'm dating someone now. I do have a boyfriend.
Really?
I'm-
Snapchat didn't tell us.
Well, Snapchat told some of us by accident.
True, that's fine. That's fine.
I'm gonna tell that story. I'm gonna tell that story. So I meant to send some nudes to somebody who was interested in my boyfriend and I accidentally sent them to the group chat with Ezra's husband and Alex. Not that they don't already follow my alt Twitter, but now they have seen some very intimate parts of my boyfriend that they did not ask to see. So,
Those the best boys. Aren't those the best?
Yeah.
The ones that you accidentally run into.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
y'all just, y'all just remember to check before you send anything on Snapchat, okay? Just always double check, triple check if you have to.
The gift that keeps on
I have actually
giving.
sent them to my boss. I know that life.
But like, I legitimately, like, I will get mad at him sometimes and I will like say something or do something and then I'll stop for a second and I'll say, and it'll dawn on me. I'm like, oh my God, I'm behaving just like my mother. And it's like, I do not want to raise a child like my mother raised me. Sorry, Mom, if you come across this one of these days, but like, I would like to be a different parent than my mom was.
It's okay. You can say kinder.
Okay, yes, I would like to be a lot kinder, and I just don't see that happening for me right now. I'm choosing violence.
Yeah, that's one of the main
I love
things for me
that.
is, like, I'm far too like selfish and impatient.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if they can't poop in the toilet the first time, throw it out.
If you ain't got it, you're never gonna get it.
All very good points. And honestly, like, this is an evolving conversation that my wife and I have all the time because it's really true. There's just so many things. And I think too, as queer people, we have a different understanding of who we are because we had to have so much like self-exploration before we identified as how we identify and before we came out and did all these fun things, and not so fun things. And so it's been one of those things where it's kind of been like a yo-yo effect where I'm really into it, we're both really into it, and then all of a sudden, with the last administration, it was like something else happened and we're like, oh God, okay, yeah, well, we can't do it now because look at what's happening, everything's imploding. But I think for me, when I really did some soul searching and really sat down with myself, it was that I wanted, if we were lucky enough to have children, I want our children to be part of like the better next generation. you know, and not allow people that can just breed and are mindless about it to just create more hate. You know, I want to be part of like the next wave of like scientists and you know, just people that can create such a better future. Kind of like us, you know, somehow we all got here. We're all doing something that create a better future. And so that's what I hope for my child. And maybe I'm being a little too optimistic about it, but
no, what you are is a great future parent.
Yes,
is what you are.
absolutely. Yeah. And then It's Always Sunny cue card comes up. Natalia births the Antichrist.
Right. And 37 sweet teas from now, I'm gonna be like, so
here's my devil baby. All horns and like
the spawn of Satan, I guess.
His first words were Ave.
It's gonna be fine.
Well, I would like to add something else to that. And me being where I'm at right now in career, in life, things I want to do, I'm not ready to put myself second, you know? And I feel like a child takes so much love and care and attention. If I had a child, I feel like I would do what I need to do, but it would end up being, I don't give them enough attention where they need it, or I end up trying to live vicariously through them.
Right.
And I don't want either of those things to happen. So I want it to be, I'm good, I'm great, I can relax and go on vacations every now and then, but my life is good before I decide to, you know, to take care of this other being that needs to grow and learn, you know?
I mean, I don't check in on myself sometimes. Sometimes I don't take care of myself. How the fuck? Like,
if you can't love yourself, how the hell are you gonna love somebody else?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, kids, man.
Kids. Oh,
no kids for me.
Luckily, I can't just get pregnant. So, I mean,
there you go.
That's a plus. I get to choose. So that's lovely. I love that.
That is a very like important thing in like being queer parents is like, it's not just we got pregnant, guess we have a baby. Like it takes so much like work and intention and like follow up to be able to have a child.
Would that make us the best parents?
I mean, studies show.
I mean, unless
the ones that we actually have to put some work into having a child, and
you know you're gonna be fucking loved. You know how hard we worked. Like,
exactly.
We're all rooting for you. Natalia, if you end up having a boy, I have found in like talking to people that men who are raised by women hit different in the best way.
I would love that. I would love that. I'm gonna be happy, and again, partner and I have already like talked it all through, but I'm gonna be happy with just a healthy human. Like I don't care how they identify. I don't care about any of that. Like I'm just gonna be happy with whoever I'm blessed to have. Even we've talked about, even if nothing sticks, that adopting would probably be our next best thing, and that we'll look at someone like 13 to 18 because they never get adopted, which is so unfortunate. So, you know.
Foster care be like that, man. But yeah, no, I have there's the man that owns the vape store like right below our apartment. I talk with him a lot, and like we were having conversations, and he's just like very like understanding, and like he just like gets like a lot of like the things that I'm talking about and everything like that. He's very like open and like, you know, he's very cool. And I just like one day I was just like, you were raised by women, weren't you? And he was like, yeah. I was like, I knew it.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, there's a reason why queer people are #1 in relationship satisfaction, sexual satisfaction, parenting. Like, we're killing it.
Yeah, we're just objectively better at everything.
And until society at large realizes that, you know, the gay agenda. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, they're keeping us down.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're Pete Buttigieg, in which case you're just adopting kids so you can be like, look, everybody, I am a parent now. I have child.
Okay, this may be the whiskey, but him running shirtless, that one picture that was like on Instagram for a hot second.
Reassess your priorities. Reassess
Hold
your
on.
Cameron.
Look,
Cameron.
Mr. Exposing his boyfriend on Snapchat accidentally. Don't come for me and the senator. Don't come for me. Don't.
And the senator.
He's not a senator. I'm a little drunk.
And the
Whatever he is.
transportation secretary.
That's
Is
it.
this on his
Come
Snap?
on,
You said it's on his
teleport.
Instagram?
I mean, that was a long time ago.
I'm just
This-
Googling it.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, the
do
same
that.
thing I'm doing.
Exactly.
It's okay,
Why
I'm
is Jacob coming
scrolling.
for me? Jacob likes to attack me. I heard he was talking about me before this started too.
I literally told you what I was talking about whenever you came on. I literally told you.
Oh, I don't remember.
That's what happens when you hit Evan Williams up on Grindr.
I hate it when moms fight.
Anyway,
This is
you're
gonna be in
welcome.
my. This I'm searching this on private
The world.
browsing mode.
Listen,
Everybody.
the world is Googling this now. You're welcome.
Yeah, whoever finds it first, flash out the camera so I can see.
I mean, I'm looking at it. And he-
I found it.
My camera isn't really gonna like show good, but
Because
Okay, let me. I'm gonna turn the light.
He's
Yeah.
licking his
Okay.
lip. He's like licking his lip.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm. Oh, okay, I see it.
oh yeah, he's doing the
The
hair.
lesbian's
He's
like,
like-
okay,
He's doing the-
I say it. I say it.
Yeah, but I always say that I look at men like art. Like sometimes I don't get it, and sometimes
That's
I'm
how I
like,
feel
yeah,
about
get
women.
it. Yeah.
That's how I feel about people in general.
Like, look at this Jackson Pollock. Yeah, I appreciate the hard work that went into it, but maybe it's not my thing. You know?
What work is going to this?
Hard work.
So I was going somewhere. I just don't remember. Somebody
You're
shot
welcome.
a hole in my roommate's wall last week or the week before.
yeah.
They sure did. And the police department did nothing about it. They wouldn't even like
Is there
knock
no
on my
surprise?
neighbor's door. I know, I shouldn't be surprised. Like the thing is, if we lived in like a majority white area, they would probably do something about it, but we
Mhm.
don't. So they've, pretty much they're not worried about they're not. It's really sad too, because like I don't know, like they're understaffed, but the staff they have deserve like 0 stars out of 5 on Yelp for customer service. Because like literally like they came the first time like right after it happened and like picked up like looked at the hole and they were like, yep, that's a bullet hole, and then like left. And then, like
Also funny thing, but like I saw recently like a video of someone had called the cops their home because they had an abusive ex that broke into their apartment and like wrecked the entire apartment. And the officer was like, we can't do anything. Nobody was harmed. Property damage isn't a crime. And all this other kind of shit. And so like until anyone is like actually harmed, they claim they can't do anything. Which at that point, if somebody's already been harmed and or is dead, what's the point? Like, it's
But
free
property
for
damage
everyone.
while brown is a
Yeah.
crime.
correct.
There you go.
Mhm.
Correct.
It's just like
Honestly,
furthering
anything while
evidence-
brown.
Yeah, furthering evidence for why we don't need police.
Like, but like legitimately, like, so I called my friend who is a detective to come out and look at it. He was like, oh my God, I don't know why. He's also a queer. So he came out and he's like, oh my God, I don't know why. If I was on this right now, I tell you what, Jacob, if I was on this right now, I would have called the SWAT team. I would have called my investigators out here. I would have called forensics. We would have had that bullet in there and we would have known who shot that motherfucker 5 seconds ago. You hear me? And I was like, well, I do appreciate it, but like, that's not gonna help. He's like, let me make a couple phone calls. We'll get somebody out here. And then he like left or whatever. And like, I kind of assumed that like the cops that were gonna show up like 10 minutes later were gonna be friends of his. They weren't. He literally like just called the police station, was like, hey, like send some folks out here because this happened. And they didn't like, they had like, you sent forces out here and they didn't do anything. So like, just send somebody else out here, please. And so they bang on my door like I'm the one that shot a gun. Like it was like boom, 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 and I was like, all right now, all right now. So like,
Brings pot of mac and cheese to the door.
right.
What?
puts cap on hair with curlers in it. But like, so I like open the door, and like the cops are standing like 5 feet away from the door, like looking at us like, yes. They're like, what's up? And I was like,
I'm making mac and cheese.
right, like,
Mario Kart.
I don't know, like somebody shot into my roommate's room and they were like, okay, well, you already called the police, right? And we were like, yeah, but they didn't even like look for the bullet, but we found the bullet. And they were like, did you touch it? And we were like, no. And they were like, okay, we'll come get it. And they were just asking questions to my roommate, who was just, let me also say, my roommate was just chilling in his room playing Pokemon Legends Arceus, and he just hears a gun go off and like fucking drywall splatter everywhere, you know, like he's just, poor thing. Anyway, and he's just sitting there like trying to remember. His brain is traumatized at this point, and they're just talking to him like some condescending cunts. And they're like, so where's the bullet again? They asked like 5 different times where the bullet was, and I'm like, it's in his fucking bedroom. So finally they go back there and they look and they're like, yep, that's a bullet. Pick it up, put it in a bag. And then as they're leaving, they're like, thank you for doing your civic duty. Is there anything else that we can do for you? And I was like, yeah, you can go knock on my neighbor's door. And then this bitch pauses, like cocks her head to the side, like thinking about it. And she's like, well, what good would that do? And I was like,
what?
I was like,
you should know.
She was like,
you're the police.
She was like, are you sure anybody even lives over there? And I'm like, yes, I hear them playing their music like all the time. Like, yeah, somebody lives over there. They're putting their trash out all the time. Like, somebody lives there. And they were like, well, that's not our job. That's investigations. And I was like, investigations? They were like, the number's on the back of your card, because, you know, they give you a little investigation card. And I was like,
I thought the number was 911.
oh no, there are more numbers, Cameron. There are different departments within the police. And they were like, it's
stupid.
Call robbery homicide. Well, baby, of course the robbery homicide number is not on the back of the card. And by this point, they've already condescended their way out of my house. And I'm just sitting there and I'm just like baffled. And I'm just ready to throw like a Molotov or something. Flash forward Monday, the leasing company sends out somebody to patch up the wall, and the guy who patches up the wall goes over and knocks on the door, and it's like, hey man, did you shoot into your neighbor's apartment? And he's like, yeah, I'm sorry, I was cleaning my gun and I forgot that it was loaded.
What? Oh my goodness.
So the maintenance guy did what the police wouldn't, or rather what wasn't their job. So, you know, I mean, gotta love it.
So I have an interesting 911 story. It's not funny, but I think it's interesting. So couple months ago, I'm coming off of work and I'm about to go somewhere that I have no business going. A gay spa in the midst of this like whole pandemic. But I'm going there, and there's 2 reasons I shouldn't be going there. 1, because it's a pandemic, and 2, because that street is pretty shady at night. So I'm walking down the street, and meanwhile, like it feels like it's getting creepier and creepier as I'm going down, and I'm like half not sure. It's like, oh, but maybe, but Dick, but I don't know. So I end up just heading over there, and I pass this like really shady big lots, and I see a group of people around there. I don't know what the context is, but I decide to cross the street over. As I'm crossing, it's dark, but they appear to be a bunch of teenagers. Okay, whatever. But I see someone kind of lying up against the wall, and I see people coming to him one by one. They look like they're saying something, but I'm thinking, is he hurt or whatever? My brain makes up these crazy scenarios. So I'm like, maybe teenagers were drinking and then they started fighting and somebody bumped their head, but they didn't want to call the police or something like that. So I'm walking. I'm like, okay, none of my business. But then I stop and I look back. He's still there. I'm like, ugh. So I end up calling, right? And I call them. I say, it looks like, I tell the guy what I'm telling you all. And he says, oh, it looks like you need to see the, the health emergency department. They refer me over and they say, okay, are you sure this guy's in need of medical assistance? I'm like, I didn't get close enough. It looked like something was wrong. I didn't want to go over there and ask him. There's like 12 of them. And they said, you got to get close to ask him if he's okay, if he's really needing assistance. Okay, that makes sense. And I'm like, I don't want to go over there. So he says, why don't you just yell to him and ask him if he's all right? And I'm like, I don't want to do that either. But eventually it's like, okay, we can't send out anybody out there unless we're sure it's like a medical emergency or something. And then I pause. I'm like, okay. Then I started walking like back, because I'm saying this and I'm walking away from from whatever this is. But then eventually I walk back, and by the time I get back there, everybody is gone. I guess the moral of the story is, if I want to help somebody, I probably have to get more involved than I want to. But also, I'm a nervous Nelly. I overthink things. Maybe they were just chilling.
I mean, but like also like they don't want vigilantes, but like also you've got to do their work for them before they come out, and
But then you get in trouble for it.
If you get murdered, at least they'll have an actual reason to get out there.
And think about it.
I was waiting for the story to turn into like, you called the cops showed up, and they were all just like doing the nasty. And that's it. I was like, no, did you just break up their little orgy?
And you know what? I told somebody at the spa this story, and he's like, you know what? There was 12 of them, and they were teenagers. They're in the prime of fitness. What if they ran across the street? Like, who the hell is this?
Yeah.
So I have a really serious question for you though.
What?
Was the dick worth it?
No. There was a bunch of daddies, and no offense to anybody. That place is flooded with daddies, and that's not typically my thing.
Do you live in Phoenix?
I live in LA.
Okay, but
it just sounds like a Phoenix place.
Are we talking, okay, when we say daddies, do we mean like that one guy on Grindr that looks like Eustace Bag from Courage the Cowardly Dog daddy that like labels himself a daddy? Or are we talking about like the dad from Euphoria?
Grand-daddies.
Oh.
I mean,
Eustace Bag.
like, I mean, you occasionally get some younger guys. Maybe there's this elusive twink running around every now and then, but it's mostly just daddies running the whole show.
Also, side note, I would totally watch a show that's called Elusive Twink. Someone make that.
Heyo.
Hey, look over there. Where'd he go?
From the creators of Adventure Time.
Right.
That's the thing. He's gone.
Featuring no fats, no fins.
Speaking of Euphoria, I love that show though.
I need to start watching the second season and the 2 specials that came between.
You haven't watched the second season?
I haven't started it yet.
I haven't seen the first season.
If you watch the first episode, you'll be so satisfied. I'm not going to give it away, but you see something happen that you've been waiting for since like episode 1.
Excellent, but also I hear there are a lot of great dicks in this season. Like they show a lot of like nice dicks in this season.
Yes, they do. They were like, hey, we didn't show enough dicks the first season. We've got to dick it up.
Why do I feel like this is Glee's older sister though?
No,
it's not that. It's not that.
There is not.
Ryan Murphy could never do something this like serious and well thought out.
Gotcha.
You know what I could compare Euphoria to?
Yeah, like who would play her?
Yeah.
I've not been watching, but I've been keeping up through like social media and like reading the spoilers and everything because based on what I know of it, I could not watch it.
Yeah,
Like,
no, yeah,
I
don't.
can't like
Neither of
physically-
you, don't do it. But like for me, that doesn't have that kind of high school trauma or experience, I'm like, yes, I'm absorbing all of this right now.
But
I will
Um,
say I didn't get enough prep for the first episode. Like the very first episode, there was just so many dicks. I was just not properly prepared. There's like a locker room scene, or maybe it was the second episode.
It was
I
a
don't
locker,
know.
yeah.
It was a locker room scene, and all of a sudden, it was like the Valhalla of dicks. I'm like, wow, I don't even know. I can't look anywhere. They're all over the screen.
Big ones, fat ones, short ones, round ones.
Well, now
Everyone
I'm
was
sold.
represented.
I'm going to watch it.
Everyone was
immediately.
represented.
All
Yeah,
types of dicks.
it was like it was like, you know, when they do like all male reviews in like small towns, and the title for them is like 50 Shades of Men, but there's only 3 guys, so technically there's only 3 shades of men. These were all 50 Shades of Men. Like they were just all there. It was a lot.
It was
But,
like
yeah.
it was like a bunch of Girl Scout cookies, but for dicks. Like also, I cannot relate to a small town having an all male review. Otherwise, I probably would have snuck into one or tried to when I was a child. Where were these small town all male reviews, Natalia? Where have they been
In
hidden?
Florida.
Oh,
Oh, they're in Florida. They happen all the time. They happen all the time. I actually got dragged to one for a friend's birthday, and it was that they called it 50 Shades of Men. And I remember getting in there, and I saw that there were only 3 strippers. I'm like, can I get my money back? Because this is false advertising. There's only technically 3. Actually, if I'm being fair, 2 Shades of Men. So
honestly, like it's also Florida, so like when they can't afford to go to Las Vegas, they're just like, we'll bring Vegas here because this is Florida.
yeah,
Yeah, I think I'm missing something. What do you mean by review? You said
Male
all
strippers.
review. They call
Yeah.
it a review?
Yeah, they call it an all male review.
That's
Because you're
weird.
reviewing the peen. Well, episode over. No, I'm just
Awkward silence. It wasn't me. It wasn't
It
me.
wasn't
Who
you
did?
this time. It was not you this time. Let's take a quick break and we will be right back for 50 more shades of men. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another big ol' double XL veiny sweet tea. It's me again, your friendly gayborhood host, your sleep paralysis demon, Jacob. I'm here with all of my friends in our little Zoom box. We're just shooting the shit. Some interesting conversations were happening in the break. And I just really wanted to ask you, Cameron. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, so
I was like, oh, this conversation is gonna have nothing to do with me. And I was like, oop, I'm mute.
How's everybody's mental health?
I told my boyfriend he's gonna ask about that mental health again.
I always do.
It's better than last time, which my answer last time was hopefully that it was better than the last time, because that's how I feel. It doesn't mean I'm at where I want to be, but I keep making small steps, or at least every day I wake up with the intention to take those small steps. Sometimes they're taken, sometimes they're not. But as long as we don't take a step backwards, we're good. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at. I'm pretty good. I'm fine. I'm chill. I'm content. I'm healthy. I've got a job, so I can't complain. You know, my part's done. Ha.
I mean, I could complain, but I won't.
No,
Basically-
complain. No, you're here. You're here. You complain. You are more than welcome to complain.
I mean, it's kind of like what Cameron said. Like, I'm doing no worse than usual. I felt like when I was in school, it was very stressful. And then when I got out of school, there was this moment where the weight was lifted off of my shoulders. And then new adult problems replaced those problems. And I'm kind of like, okay, now I have to survive in the world. So it's like, man, but I'm not doing worse. I'm not doing worse. You know?
Good, good. I, like Cameron, am doing better than the last podcast, I think. Mental health wise. Been making a lot of changes personally, and taking a lot more time to edit the way that I handle my mental health, and my reactions to things that would normally like devastate me. And so, yeah, just like Jonathan and Cameron, taking it a day at a time, and trying not to take steps backwards. So
I'm probably doing marginally worse than the last episode. But it's fine. I'm fine. It's one of those things of like the universe keeps testing me, and I'm certainly not passing.
Well,
I am well below the grading curve here.
first of all, we shouldn't think that it's I've had to learn that we shouldn't think that it's a test, because then it just makes everything worse. But I think it was my therapist who recently told me that like things are always waxing and waning. So like even whenever things are like good, there's still gonna be like some bad things. Like there's still going to be some things that you're unhappy about, and whenever there are lots of things to be unhappy about, like there's still going to be like a little light in there. So
there's definitely like little pockets of joy in the shit show that is currently happening, but we are definitely tuned in to the shit show.
I was gonna say, yeah, and then in a while there are gonna be some pockets of shit in the joy show. I mean, it just is what it is.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about it, and I'd like to address something, because I don't want to get into like all of my issues, but just to glance over it, like I'm an actor, writer, content creator, and anytime I'm going through something, and I feel like other people have experienced this too, they always have, it's like everybody else has the answer for you. It's like, oh, you ain't nothing to it but to do it, or like you just gotta push yourself. Or when you're not working your 9-to-5 job, what are you doing when you get home? And it's like, maybe I'm doing something productive, or maybe I'm relaxing because I have no energy, or maybe if I try hard, that doesn't guarantee a result. It's not that I'm trying to be pessimistic or giving up, but it's just like, you don't have the answer for me. And they always want to have there's this, oh, you don't want to be soft. You got to just push through. Everybody kind of having the answer for you. I think what makes stress and what you're going through worse is everybody, it's like this part of me that wants to be validated by someone else, but I don't, but I do. But it's a weird thing. It's like, oh, you're an actor. Have you been anything lately? Have you been auditioning? Have you been, sometimes I want to just be left the fuck alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. That goes for anyone, even outside of any profession. Sometimes you just need to tell people lovingly and respectfully, just leave me the fuck alone. Yeah, just like leave me the fuck alone. Like,
yeah, absolutely. Your space is sacred, no matter how much space it is. But I mean, I definitely think, kind of going back to what your therapist is telling you, Jacob, it's true. Like life is kind of an ebb and a flow constantly, right? The world is trying so hard to be in balance all of the time, and that includes us. And I feel personally, my mental health, I don't remember what I said last time. I think I said that I was hopeful that things would get better. They haven't, but you know, I'm trying to focus. I'm taking my own advice and I'm focusing on my bright spots, which are like my wife and my 2 dogs and the work that I do and how much I love it. But there are definitely times where it gets really hard, and I am a recovering yes person. And so it's really hard to tell people no, even when I need my space or I need that time to recover from whatever's happening.
And that's one thing that I'm having to learn right now too, is giving myself time. I'm kind of becoming like a little bit of a hermit, but like not in a negative way, but like, you know, if I just need to fucking rest and just binge some HBO or YouTube, that's just what the fuck I'm gonna do. Like, that's just what the fuck I'm gonna do. There have even been times where I just turn my phone off. Like, I just turn my phone off. I go in my room and I just like lay down and I just like watch TV and I'm content. I'm just perfectly content. Like, and the thing is, because like, but like at the same time, it's like I love people. So like, I mean, obviously I have like this whole podcast where like I do nothing but talk to people. Like, I love people, but like, I now have like like I just have so much between work and the show and now having a boyfriend, and also I just got accepted onto Pride Committee for Mississippi Capital City Pride. So thank you. But like between all of that, it's like, holy shit, like it's 5 o'clock and 3 different people are calling me right now because they want to talk to me. Which one do I answer? What if I answer none of them? That's just, it sucks at first, but it's kind of liberating. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to having to disconnect and just, you know, just be alone in my space. I often don't do that though, but you know, sometimes you got it.
You got to.
See, I'm the opposite. I have mastered the art of hermitdom. I have been a hermit since 2019, obviously. I mean, since 2019, before the pandemic really hit us, I mastered staying at home, not talking to anybody, except the handful of people I communicate with, either because they're close to me or because I work with them. And I work for my family. I work for my dad. So in the last 3 years, if I'm not out in public, which is 5% of my time, I'm at the house watching cartoons, working on my quote craft, which is hopefully to like start working on writing my own or comics or voice acting or something or in those areas. That's why I started my own podcast. It was a pandemic project. And it was something that I knew I could do if I wanted to completely on my own, where I wouldn't have to talk to anyone. And so that was in a way liberating for me as far as my mental health for the long term over the last 3 years. But now I'm past it now, but at the point it was kind of into that dark era, like we've talked about, Jacob, the golden years, the Station to Station era of David Bowie's music.
Yes.
I was kind of in my darkest phase where I was just living in my own kind of fantasy world, if you will.
It's not the side effects of the cocaine.
No, absolutely not. No cocaine. No cocaine. But yeah, like, I don't know how just to like pivot. I'm the opposite. Like, yeah. So my mental health has been to like get myself back into not necessarily dealing with people, because I still don't like people. And if I don't have to deal with them, I won't. That's the Aquarian in me. Call me a rebel, if you will. I will do everything independently to the day I die if I can. But anyway, but like, I'm not anxious to like be around people now.
Right. And I realized that part of my anxiety was like feeling like I had to talk to people and feeling like I had to spend time with people, even whenever like I didn't feel like it, you know, and I felt like, okay, I have to parse out my time with like everybody here. And then like, you know, you get to a point where you kind of realize like, no, like they don't hate you if you don't like talk to them for like 5 minutes. Like if they want to talk, they can just reach out, you know, like.
Absolutely. And that kind of brings up an interesting point, because I read, I think it was like a Psychology Today like article, like a popular psychology site, and they were talking about the importance of steering away from making up an excuse if you just don't want to do something. So for example, if you have like a person that invites you out, like, hey, what are you doing at 6? We're all gonna go to dinner, and your first thought is like, oh my god, like there's no fucking way, I'm not going to that, right? And then you say something like, oh well, I can't because like I'm talking to somebody at this time, or I'm calling my mom, whatever. Instead of making that excuse, just be like, no, I'm gonna stay in for, it's a mental health night or whatever. Like, I don't think I'm quite at that point yet, and I want to be, but I don't know how I would bridge that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, absolutely. I think it just kind of goes back to like the thing that my mom always told me, which is, what's the worst they can say? No. I mean, like, you're just the person that's saying no, and like, own it. Just own the no. And speaking of owning the no, I don't know, that's not a good transition. Anyway, Jonathan unfortunately has to go now.
Yeah. It was great talking to everybody and meeting everyone here.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
It was great having you on again. Hopefully you can join us again for another sweet tea, but honey, you have a great rest of your night, and we will see you next time.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.
See yourself out.
You are the weakest link.
Goodbye. So Dylan, you seemed like you had something that you needed to say. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
You kind of got like swept up.
It's okay. I can wait my turn.
It's your turn. No, demand your turn. Demand your seat at this
Demand
table,
my
baby.
space.
Yes, that's right.
Well, I think last time I was like, oh, things are going good. And then it just took a nosedive at the beginning of the year. So that's fun. I actually, the last time I was really proud of myself because I got treatment for ADHD, and then that became not enough. And then I had to go to like an actual psychiatrist and actually start actual meds. So that's been interesting because I actually came to a very similar realization that I was spreading myself really thin to just kind of keep up with my own like chaos. And so lately I've been kind of enjoying just kind of being alone with my husband and just kind of chilling. And because COVID came full force in Phoenix, so we were like, all right, time to, not do that again. So otherwise, it's just been like financial stuff. Insurance is trying to screw us, and that's not fun. But it'll get better. Me and my husband are both looking at promotions, so that will do something. Yes.
There you go.
Yes,
Excellent.
and I'm hopefully going to be sitting for my licensure exam soon, so that will also be fun because then I can actually call myself what it is that I am. And I got a new snake, so that's bringing lots of dopamine, so that's nice.
Yes.
Little noodle.
I'm a snack. I'm a snack. This is also the tipsiest that I've been on any sweet tea, so cheers.
Cheers to that. Cheers to that. I guess the moral of the story is, if you need to be a hermit, y'all, be a hermit. If you need to just say no, say fucking no. If you need to turn your phone off, turn your phone off. People are like pancakes, okay? If you spread that batter too goddamn thin on there, it's not a pancake anymore, it's a crepe.
Which are also
I'm
delicious.
sure where you were going with
Yeah.
that.
Snaps to the metaphors.
Either way, you'll be delicious, but you'll be
Yes.
spread too thin.
You'll be delicious, but you will be very thin and need to be stuffed.
Cheers to
be
the
enjoyed.
crepes. Cheers to the crepes.
Yes. Come on, crepes. Hashtag just say no. Hashtag crepe life.
No pancakes here.
Hashtag homo hermits.
Homo hermits.
Homo hermits.
I would get
Yoda
merch
is
that
my
said
spirit
that.
animal.
I'd wear a sweater that says that homo hermit.
Oh,
I
that's
love that.
fantastic.
Just give me time to build my brand and I will start advertising. Oh, and by the way, guys, if you want to support my channel, you can buy the Homo Hermit officially licensed gear.
Well, I've been
$50
saying
on
for a
Drag
very
Queen
long
merch.
time that we needed Out in the Woods merch. We
As
need to
long
make
as
it
one of the
happen.
colors is chartreuse. Otherwise, I'm not purchasing. Just kidding.
Chartreuse
Sorry,
in 2022?
sorry, I guess I'm not gay enough. What shade is chartreuse?
Like a yellowy green.
Yeah, isn't it like, yeah.
Like
Like
baby
in-
vomit green.
I need to know what the
Yeah.
Pantone color of the year is, though.
Oh my god, I
Ooh.
didn't even look that up. Let's talk about it. What is it?
Looking it up. Looking it up now.
It is very pearl.
Is that the name of it, or are we just being really gay? It's like very.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
Very
actually called
pearl.
Very Pearl. Literally. Cool.
it's like a ashen purple.
Ooh,
Do
I
you
kind of
purple?
love that. So we know what version of Pokemon Pantone bought.
It's not
Oh,
pearl. It's Perry. It's a periwinkle. I'm just blind.
Oh yeah, it's definitely in the lavender periwinkle family.
Oh no, the name is very Perry.
It's very
And I read it
Perry.
as pearl.
Oh, very
Because
Perry.
I'm just
Got you.
dumb.
Ezra, I want you to know that like my eyes saw very PERL and I was like, well, that's one way to spell pearl. And then like, I just like kept scrolling.
I didn't even question that. I was like, yeah, pearl. Okay.
It's very
Speaking of-
Perry. Very Perry.
Speaking of Pokemon, though, is anybody playing Pokemon right now?
Hello, everything.
Absolutely. yeah.
Brilliant Diamond, Arceus, everything. Yeah.
Okay, good.
I literally started the game Arceus over. I'm one of those people who will get about halfway mid-game and then want to be like one of those completionists, like perfectionist type of player, then I start over. So I'm in the starting over phase of Arceus, and I'm like going to be level 60 before I even cross that bridge, literally. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's gonna be
So
me.
I have entered the level of poverty now that I like live on my own and have to pay my own bills, and you know the restaurant industry has been really slow. So I have less than $80 in my bank account. So I have not bought Arceus yet, but you know, one of these days I'll probably get it, and I'm excited to play it when I do get it.
I can get it for you for your late Christmas present. I can get it for you. That sounded really like, you know, anyway, cut it out. Anyway, continue.
Cameron, oh my god, you've said it on the podcast, so now you have to do it.
So I'm like, cut it out. Cut it out. This like I'm not
This
trying
is
to
the
be
Kim
charity,
gift giving
but-
podcast.
Oh
You
my
get
God.
Arceus and you get
Right, no. I did say I work for my father, but I'm not that, you know,
We can all pitch in.
plentiful in the coin. Right. Yeah. Well, you know, look
it's
at your
the
copy.
South. It's I work for my daddy. So like that's the kind of business we're
Why?
talking about right now. We're not talking about I work for my father at the hedge fund company.
I mean, he's been doing it for about 30 years now, so it's a bit of both. But yeah, it's definitely my dad. My dad, daddy. Yeah.
So those of you who are playing it, which starter did y'all choose?
Typhlosion.
Hey, same.
Just because I have that Gen 2 nostalgia, like Gen 1 through 3 was my childhood. So
I did a random number generator.
nice.
It was more of a coin flip because I wasn't gonna pick Oshawott.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That's
Oshawott
that's
was
who
my
I-
third choice.
that's who I chose because he's adorable.
I chose Rowlet.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rowlet was my second choice.
Alex and Ollie both chose Rowlet. And I agree with you, Dylan, that Oshawott is adorable. I just didn't like the final. And the final evolutions are always what decide it for me.
Can we talk about how Hisuian what is the final evolution of the owl?
Decidueye.
Yeah.
How it looks like if Blaziken like went through a really high art, like Japanese inspired like kind of phase.
Yes.
What's it meant to look like? Samurai or something?
No, it's supposed to look like ancient Japanese archers.
Okay.
which is really cool. Like,
Yeah.
I'll probably definitely do a playthrough. Like, people were like, you can't see Typhlosion's flames unless he's in battle. I'm like, I don't care. He's not out of the Pokeball unless I'm using him. So like, what does it matter? It looks really cool though.
It looks really cool, but without the flames, he does look like he saw you in the line at Starbucks and he wants to tell you about him and his best friend's vitamin company. Like he's very like slick down.
He just needs the tie, you know. He just needs the tie. But yeah.
Or it's a collared it's like a collared button up that the top two buttons are undone and the sleeves are rolled up.
Mm-hmm.
But he also has like a backwards cap on.
I don't know who I'm gonna choose because I honestly like all three of the options.
Yeah, they're all really good.
They're all really good.
Since you are an Aries rising Scorpio moon, I think you're gonna pick Typhlosion, but that's just me.
Typhlosion
Fire Ghost, come on.
Fire Ghost is a really cool combo. I mean, honestly, like, you know, I normally just go straight for the water starters, but like once again, Oshawott is really adorable, but like I have seen the final evolution they chose, and I'm like, like
If it's any help, I don't keep my starter, so they go straight to the pasture.
Also, I guess spoiler alert, I know that you can get all three of them at like the end of the game.
Yeah.
Well, you can in most of the games. It's just usually it's post game stuff.
Yeah.
People on TikTok are like, when I have to trade in my starter for the alpha type, which is like 3 times bigger.
Yeah. Also, y'all, I had
Natalia's just sitting there on mute, just like.
You what?
So Natalia's just sitting there, just listening to us talk about Pokemon. Listen to the boys talk about Pokemon.
Oh no, I used to play Pokemon. Now I play like first-person shooters, and so I'm like, oh, I'm so
You're
behind.
that kind of lesbian. Okay.
Well, she works at the VA now, so she has to get into the heads of all the veterans. She plays COD. She's not a noob.
Yeah, I play COD with my mic off.
Oh God, yeah, I bet. Oh, I bet.
They're talking about trauma, and she's like, yeah, no, I've been there. I know. I get it.
When we had to blow up that airport full of civilians.
they're like, yeah, you did what?
What? Yeah, no, luckily I don't. So I play not COD. I play Apex Legends, which is like I don't know if you've heard of it. It's kind of like a super, like World of Warcraft meets like COD. It's
my husband has a lot.
Oh my God, I am so in love with that game. And they have like queer characters. They have like the people of color, and like the female identifying characters are badass, which is like so rare for games like that. So I used to play like a lot of Pokemon, and then I kind of bridged into PlayStation more, and now I'm just exclusively playing that game, and it just gives me so much dopamine.
Natalia, send me your PlayStation information. I want to add you as a friend on PSN. Can I do that?
Oh yeah.
Can I do that? Okay.
I need to get back into playing my PlayStation. I used to be an Overwatch guy. Like I was a hardcore.
Who did you play in Overwatch?
Support. I started out Mercy was my first main.
Gotcha.
It's because of my Christian upbringing. You can refer to that in our episode "Queerness and Christianity Coexisting," and the following Sweet Tea episodes where that slowly dissolves. But anywho,
I started out playing Diva because it was the only one that I could like.
I love Diva.
Handle on.
Oh, I like Diva.
Diva's my favorite tank. I love all the girls. Like I've always.
Hold on, I have things to show you, queens.
Oh, I don't have them here. They're at my studio, which is AKA my old bedroom at my parents' house. But I have the support Funkos, all 5 or 6 of them. Yeah.
You like Funkos?
I do. I have the Avatar Funkos. My boyfriend got them for my birthday.
Oh, that's so cool,
for my
Cameron.
30th birthday. Yes.
If I could pick up my computer and take it with me, I would show you the Funkos that I have I have them on display in my closet.
No, I literally because I played Overwatch with my brother, I got very into Diva. So I like
nice.
I posted up.
Her out of her mech with the baby gun reminds me of Metroid's Samus.
Samus, yes.
Samus, yeah.
They also had
Samus
the
is-
store where I bought the gun. They had the like she has like a bumblebee like skin set, and like bumblebees are like kind of my thing. And so like I wanted to buy it so badly, and someone bought it out from underneath me while I was on the clock, and I was like,
No.
so upset.
Okay,
So-
I don't know
Divas-
if you can see this, but this is mine and my wife's nerd shelf. So there's the Harry Potter castle out of Legos on the top next
Oh,
to
Nice.
a Hogwarts Express, and then these are all of our Funkos. And so I'm
Yeah,
obsessed
yeah.
with the Golden Girls. So like one whole like section is just all Golden Girls Funkos.
Yes.
Like a bunch of like queer like legends, and yeah, we're obsessed.
I was gonna say, on the note of nerdy things and first person shooters, okay, y'all, I have a confession. I play Fortnite now.
I got into Fortnite when it first started.
Same.
While I was playing Overwatch, and then I kind of just my ADHD took me somewhere else. You know.
I had too many 12-year-olds tell me to uninstall, so I
Exactly.
like.
I'm not here for that.
I literally just get on party chat with my friend. I only play Fortnite if one of my friends it's Will, everybody. If Will's like, hey, come on, let's play some Fortnite. And so like
Listen, like I need to get back into the games that were with like actual IRL friends, because that's why I haven't played my PlayStation in a long time. Because if I'm playing by myself, I'm like, I don't want to play competitive stuff.
Well, it
That's
sounds
just
like you have a bunch of people that have PlayStation that you can play games with.
correct.
True. That's what I'm like, and like he's told me that several times. He's like, you need to play Battlefront. Like, duh, but I just like my PlayStation's right over there, and I just haven't turned it on in months.
Battlefront
I'm
would
doing
be
other things.
Natalia would play Battlefront if she wanted to talk to veterans of the Clone Wars or the Galactic
Which-
Civil War.
That's our judge. You
That's
know?
our judge. Like, I remember Camino. I was there
Yes. I was there when Kiadi Mundi got shot.
when he got his ass murked.
him and his two brains. He
my
got the
God.
chop.
Conehead. I know that one.
Yes.
Yes.
I bet getting
When
hit
Kit
from him
Fisto-
would be so awkward.
Oh my God.
It would be
When
like-
Kit Fisto got sliced down.
Oh,
don't
my God.
ruin Kiadi Mundi for me, please. Don't
It seems that your penis is getting hard.
stop it.
Oh, I'm gonna have nightmares. You're gonna have to give me therapy.
Exactly.
Okay, but Luminara was really cool. I'm excited for the new Lego Star Wars game because it has like literally every character, even ones that were just like in the background for like 2 seconds. And I'm like real excited for that.
Fun question. Which Jedi do you think is gay?
All of them.
I was gonna say, which one isn't gay?
Right. I mean,
There it is. That's the right answer. You win.
They're just all repressed.
Honestly,
You know what?
probably
Dance is Mace
Qui-Gon
Windu.
Jinn. Qui-Gon Jinn gives me closeted homosexual energy.
Qui-Gon is real gay. Qui-Gon was like smoking that good and like laying out in the fields with his lightsaber hanging out, you know.
like
Anyway.
Anakin and Obi-Wan are portrayed as straight just for the sake of the plot. But like had Padme never
You were
come
my
on,
brother.
or
I
Duchess
loved
Satine, yeah, sure. Well, no, that would be the age gap would make it very weird. The age that would be, this would be like a call me by your name situation. You know what I mean?
You know,
Wait, what age
Yeah.
gap between who?
Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
But Padawan. Wait, what's her name?
it's totally that
Padme
Padme.
was like
Padme,
not
that's
that far
true.
off.
True.
Nobody blinked an eye to that.
True.
They were only
Really?
5
No, I'm just kidding.
you know who the straight Jedi was? Mace Windu.
Mace Windu
Samuel
was
L.
probably
Jackson.
by.
Samuel L. Yeah, with that purple. Yeah, Samuel L.
He
Jackson.
was, he was Pan. Samuel L.
Yeah.
Jackson was Pan.
Okay.
If they had a summer camp, for Jedi's, it would be on. That would be a porn.
That probably is.
It
Hey.
probably is, actually. It probably is.
If not, we just copyrighted it.
Anybody that's out there listening who is AMAB and gay, if you haven't ever had a lightsaber duel with your dicks and your significant other, what the fuck have you done? If you're not period. If you ain't got the zoom zoom, then what are you doing? If you ain't saying you underestimate my power before he penetrates you, what are you doing?
These are all great merch ideas.
True. I would, oh my God, yes. I would have like a lightsaber with 2 Death Stars, like 2 lightsabers with 2 Death Stars for balls, just like coming out of someone's pelvis, just like clashing.
Yeah.
On a t-shirt.
I love that.
Or on a button, like a big button.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Book of Boba Fett is very polarizing.
I
all I
haven't
have to
seen
say.
past the first
I haven't
episode.
seen it. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but Boba Fett's my favorite character in the Star Wars
Okay.
universe, so I'm nervous.
Same. Before Ahsoka Tano came around, I could honestly say Boba Fett was my favorite Star Wars character. That's still he's like in the top 5.
The only
But, like,
reason
just-
that I'm gonna keep going is because the things that I saw that got spoiled for me, like the screenshots. Now I have to know.
I'm not going to spoil anything, but all I'm going to say is for a show called The Book of Boba Fett, there's very little Boba Fett in action. That's all I'm going to say.
Boba Fett. Boba Fett. Boba Fett.
That's another great show, Big Mouth. I love that show.
Yes. Oh, Big Mouth.
I just like Maya Rudolph's character. The hormone monstrous.
Jojulin.
She's what I want to be when I grow up.
I was
throw yourself on the bed and cry until no sound comes out.
I was talking to my last guest about Big Mouth because, you know, if you've listened to part 2 of our conversation, you'll know that he actually worked for the school systems of Philadelphia, like figuring out like basically a curriculum for sexual education. And he like saw cases like where they needed sex education and they didn't have it, and things went very wrong because young people that are figuring out their bodies that don't know what they're doing, you know, sometimes things like that happen. And I told him, I was like, I don't remember if I told him on the mic or off the mic, but I was like, honestly, like everyone should just be required to view Big Mouth, like between the ages of like 13 and 18, like you should just be required to watch Big Mouth to like kind of understand like what's going on and like what, like that it's okay to feel weird in your changing body. And also like, please don't put that in your anus, for the love of God. Like, please don't put that in your anus.
That can just be a general rule of thumb.
Correct.
Until you know what you're doing.
Another t-shirt
Don't put that
idea.
in your anus.
There's
Another
one
t-shirt
person that we
idea.
all know.
Yeah, that's a t-shirt idea.
Yeah. I will say, Jacob, if
Yeah.
you feel like you need your deserved praise, I will say I have caught up with all your episodes, and I know you say something about how you don't know if you're reaching a lot of people, but I will say everything you post is relatable content and it is good stuff. And you get people with valid opinions, valid points of view, and don't ever feel like it's not heard, seen, validated, because it is.
Well, thank you, Cameron. Thank you.
You're welcome. That might be the whiskey, but it's also my heart. Cheers.
I'm gonna cash app you $50, baby.
Oh, yes,
Once I get my
please.
next paycheck, just for saying that. No.
And then I'll send it right back for doing the David Bowie episode with me on my podcast.
There we
Yes.
go. I guess if my
Because we're
mom,
doing this all out in public.
I guess if my mom ever like hears like some of the things that I say on this show, I guess I'm just ready for it. It's kind of like when I send nudes. It's kind of like the same concept when it's like, what happens if like this gets out? It's like, well, everyone's seen my cock and balls now. Everybody's seen my starfish, you know? At this point, like, what am I like? I guess like someone's gonna see it. If someone enjoys it, that's all that counts. That's all that counts, you know?
Your mom's gonna come to you with a printed out like script version of every single one of your podcasts, throw it on your desk and be like, really?
Yeah, she is like,
With highlights.
she's
Yeah.
just
Highlight
be
every
like,
word she doesn't like.
Annotations.
she's just gonna be like,
She's writing in the margins.
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
she's gonna tell me something that she told me years ago, which is, Jacob, I love you, but sometimes I don't like you. You can laugh at that.
She's gonna unscrew her kneecap and pull out the little hammer.
Right.
It's like, please laugh at that.
Please clap.
Someone please laugh.
My mom's like R2D2. She like her little kneecap's gonna come off and a little like zapper is gonna
Little
come out.
laser,
Like,
yeah.
oh my god, we have such fun, don't we, girls? Also, wait, y'all, it's sweet tea, and we haven't even talked about Betty White.
Yes, indeed. There we go.
I'm not
Oh,
ready.
well, there goes our queer card.
God,
What else is there to say? She was an icon. She was a legend.
yeah.
Died long before her time.
She held the
And
universe
long
together.
after most people's
Yeah.
time.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
Have we not? We haven't talked about it on camera. No, we haven't.
Mm-mm.
That's
We brought up the Golden Girls and just completely kept going.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did. Well,
We all are
Yeah,
kind
it's traumatic. That's why I kept going. In our house, like we used to watch like all of her, you know, like her like they did like a documentary about her a couple years ago, and she's like the last living, or was the last living Golden Girl. And what a great example too, that shows like all those people that say, oh well, that person, you know, is from a different generation that thought different things and whatever. Like she was
Betty
Mm-hmm.
White.
loving, right? Betty White loved everybody, everyone. Like she had a black man on her, you know, like trend-setting, record-breaking sitcom before it was even a thing, and then she got it canceled because she didn't want to take him off because it was ridiculous. Like she was the original badass.
Yeah.
Pour one out for Betty White.
I can actually. This laminate flooring, honey, I cannot. But
I'm renting.
My mom gave me this rug, but cheers to Betty. You know.
yes.
I remember when I found out about it, I texted my brother, and he just said, "What?" in all caps, and then a few seconds later he said, "I have nothing left."
No, Alex.
Like,
Alex.
oh, no.
Alex was the one that broke the news to me because he put it in the group chat. He said, Betty White, or he said something like, y'all, Betty White. And I was like, what? What? Like, I mean, like,
Tell me.
Googled. I was like, what about her?
I know you're not okay, girl.
Yeah, no, and I guess we talked about it, Jacob, but making the joke that I called it, because it was like earlier in the year they had found like a millennia's old ball of tungsten, like that they had unearthed, and they cracked it open, and there was a single snail living in there. And then like it went to the running joke about like if you had immortality, but the only catch was that there is a snail that is going to chase you for all of your like as long as you live, and as long as it doesn't touch you, you get to stay immortal. When they cracked that thing open, I was like, Betty White's in trouble now, and then it happened, and then she died. So literally everyone, my brother and my husband were both like, you did this. You did this.
So I guess before we go, there was one more thing that I had thought about discussing. So in case none of you are aware, Cameron, I'm sure you are, about the Ridgeland Library. So in Ridgeland, Mississippi, the mayor of Ridgeland is going outside of his power to withhold the $200,000 budget for the library if they continue to cycle through LGBT books. So
yeah, and he's like, well, I don't like it. It's against my beliefs, so it shouldn't be in there. And it's like, what do you think is in the library, you dumb fuck? What do you this is the whiskey talking. Like, what do you think is in the library, you dumb idiot? I live like right outside of Ridgeland. Like, what do you think? And like, who cares? Like, oh my god, it makes me so mad.
I mean, how many straight main
Email
characters? How many straight main characters were we exposed to as kids? And
right,
and like we still turned out like this,
like,
know?
and that's
Scared
still
of
a concept that they just cannot grasp. You know what I mean? Like, we can just be like, the straight agenda has been what's been thrown all on us, and they will have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
And like now the governor, I think, is backing him up, even though once again what he's doing is actually illegal. Like, he has no, like,
right,
the money does not come
Right.
from him. Like, he does not have the power to withhold that money. But now, you know, like these librarians that are working at that library are going to go without a paycheck until
right. Like, you're
remove the
withholding
books or-
people's funds because of your religious beliefs,
right.
And we all need to be emailing this man because we have the power to do so and say, don't like it. You need to get it together.
I don't like you. You don't need to be in there.
Right. It's against my religious beliefs that you're a bigot, so you need to go. Or you need to at least not. Yeah, at least leave the library alone.
On a really fun note, though, last week, as part of the ongoing protests at the Ridgeland Library, a lot of the local furry community came out and started supporting.
I heard that.
And started.
Hell yeah.
The furries came out in support of LGBT literature. And you know what? It felt very much like an Avengers Assemble moment.
Oh, I love that. Oh my god,
Yes.
I love that.
That's the thing. Like, I posted, if you follow the Out in the Woods LGBT Crossroads and Connections Facebook group on Facebook, I said, you know, you never know who will come to your aid in your time of need. And honestly, look, say what you will about the furries, but they are so socially progressive. Like, the furries are so fucking progressive. Like, legitimately, they've got your I don't even want AAA, not AA. Oh my god. Oh Maron. I don't need AA yet. But anyway, but like, I don't need AAA. I just need like a truck full of furries who will come like fix my car if it breaks down. Because they would do it, and they would do it happily.
But God forbid you ask any one of them to wear deodorant.
That part.
I mean, honestly, it was a good for them. I don't feel like they would have come out and support like that if it was in the middle of the summer, because we are in the middle of the winter here, and it's been like basically in the 30s to 40s like this whole week. So they were probably really comfortable in their fursuits. But if it was like in the middle of Mississippi summer, I just don't even know. I don't know what they would do.
And honestly, a lot of them could probably just replace the funds because them fuckers got money.
Correct.
Yeah, they just
Correct.
coming somewhere.
Correct. But yes, anybody out there who's listening, mad respect to the furries. If you're a furry out there and you want to be a guest on my show, please,
I'm breathing.
I was like, did my screen freeze? Am I that drunk? Like, what happened?
So the mask is off at last. Okay, well, if you're, I didn't say that I hadn't had any furries on my show yet, had I?
No.
Okay, good. Well, still, okay, we have even more opportunities for furries to come on my show, talk about your persona, talk about how you got into it. Like, I would love to have you. We can yuck it up, but not yiff it up, okay? That's not my bag, honey. So yeah. Anyway, if you want to know how to contact the city of Ridgeland, you can go to their website where they talk about how progressive they are. And yeah, you can find all the contact information you need there. Yeah, I'm also thinking about like as like a little side project with the podcast, like actually going out to like the library and like recording like protesters, like getting their points of view, you know, maybe going to the librarian, talking to them. I think it would be
That's a
even
great
better
idea.
if I could like get
Mm.
the mayor of Ridgeland on the phone just to like ask him a couple of questions, but he never would. He
Oh,
probably
no.
never
Just
would.
want to talk.
No.
You
Right,
are
I just,
Satan's
I just want
spawn.
to fucking talk. But yeah. Notice how Dylan's eyebrows raised whenever you said Satan spawn. Anyway. So y'all, before we all go, I just want to say that like I truly love y'all and it's really great as always to have y'all on here. I always love having like a multitude of different voices on the show. And yeah, y'all like seriously like have brought so much in your own episodes and y'all always bring so much to the table whenever y'all come on here. And I cherish it. So yeah. Does anybody else like have anything they want to talk about before we go? Anything at all? I mean, maybe even any shout outs, promos, anything like that that y'all might want to do.
Me and our friendly friend Sai Theon, who has been a guest on Sweet Tea episodes, we are going to be doing a 2-part podcast thing dedicated to girl power because I don't want my podcast to sound misogynistic. And we're going to be doing, I'm probably going to be doing a solo episode on the Powerpuff Girls. And then Sai and I, and then some friend that he has, I don't know yet, we'll be doing one on Sailor Moon and magical girls in general, like the entire magical girl genre. So
Amazing.
yeah, so I'm
Amazing.
hoping to put out the Powerpuff Girls episode before February is done, and then hopefully get them both out before February. If not, the Sailor Moon one will come out in March. So yeah, the Petri
I'm very
dish.
forward to it.
Thanks. Yeah. And like you, Jacob, like I definitely understand that whole like I'm putting my heart into this. I hope someone's listening. So like that's where I'm coming from. Like I understand, and people aren't listening. So
if people aren't, they fucking need to. That's the thing. Like you're doing like a whole infotainment thing that like I wish that I had for certain things.
Infotainment.
Yes, infotainment. That's what mine book's all about, but yours is a lot more streamlined and much more interesting to hear sometimes than what I'm doing. So yeah. Anyway.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. Well, everybody, y'all have a great night. Thank you once again for taking a big old swig of this sweet tea with me. And we will talk later.